Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how I made the perfect root beer slime, and then how I ruined it. I started off by making a huge batch of clear slime. I made so much because I was going to use it for multiple slimes. Because this batch was so big, it took a lot of kneading, which introduced a lot of air bubbles. I let it sit for 10 days though, and it cleared up really nicely. It's so satisfying to see how clear this slime got. I added some brown gel food coloring to get a root beer color. I started off with just a little bit, but it turned out I needed a lot more to get that perfect caramel color that's in root beer. Once I had a color I was happy with, I took another little clear piece of slime and added copper gel food coloring. You'll see what we do with the copper color slime in the end. I added a few pumps of Mrs. Meyer's Oat Blossom hand soap. I just love how this smells. It was really slimy as I was mixing it in, but once I mixed it in, this slime turned so stretchy. At this point in time, the slime had the perfect texture, and if you wanted to stop here, you could. I really wanted to attempt to make a root beer slime with actual root beer though. Even though I was using 0 sugar root beer, once I added the root beer, it was almost like it melted the slime and it made it really sticky again. Once the root beer was incorporated, I ended up having to add a lot more activator to make it playable again. Before I added anything else into the slime, I wanted to stop and blow some bubbles. Once you add beads or other chunky things, it can prevent bubbles from forming. This is the point where I feel I ruined the slime. I added these small beads that look like small pieces of ice. Even though the slime was still sticky, I couldn't get the beads to stay in and they fell out everywhere. To me, this made it less fun to play with beads coming out all over the place. To give the slime some sparkle, I added fine silver glitter. Silver glitter is great as opposed to a colored glitter because once it's mixed into a colored slime, you can't tell it's silver. Now it's time to add that copper accent slime. I'm drizzling it over the main root beer slime so I can wrap it up and stick it in the container. Once it's in the container, the contrasting colors show up nicely and make it look like root beer with foam. I decided I wanted this to be a root beer float, so I took a small piece of white clay and fluffed it up so I can drizzle it over the top for ice cream. I finished this root beer slime off with a straw and some fake ice, because in real life, my favorite way to have a root beer float is to take ice, root beer, and ice cream and blend it up together in a blender. I really love the way this slime came together in the jar. It's so pretty. I also really love the way this slime felt after I mixed the clay into it. Even though it's a tiny amount of clay, it made it feel so smooth. I also really love how this slime inflates like crazy when you're playing with it. My only regret is adding those tiny beads, which are still falling out. If you love how this slime turned out, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. You can also find us on TikTok.